Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving right into our language tool belt. We're going to grab one of the most powerful tools in there, the one that makes your words just pop. I'm talking about adjectives, of course. Let's get into how these amazing little words literally shape the world we talk about.
Okay, so to kick things off, let me throw a little puzzle your way. Think about this. What do a lazy student, a heavy metal, and a funny kitten all have in common? What's the link? Well, it all comes down to that one powerful word in each phrase, the one that gives it all its personality. Let's figure out what that word is actually doing.
So, did you get it? If you guessed that the common thread was those descriptive words, lazy, heavy, funny, you absolutely nailed it. And that right there brings us to our first big topic. It's time to officially meet the noun's best friend, the adjective.
All right, so what exactly is an adjective? Well, at its heart, it's just a word that describes something. Its whole job, its entire reason for being, is to give more detail about a noun. You know, a person, place, or thing. I love how our source material calls it a noun helper, because that's perfect, right? It just helps the noun out by adding all these extra layers of meaning.
Check out this example. It's perfect. You could just say, the rose is a flower. And yeah, that's true, but it's kind of boring, isn't it? Now watch what happens when we add one little word. The rose is a beautiful flower. Boom! Instantly you have a picture in your head. You know what kind of flower we're talking about, see? That one word literally changes everything.
Okay, but here's the thing. Not all adjectives are created equal. They don't all do the same job. You got to think of them like different attachments in your tool belt, right? Each one is for a specific task. So let's start with two of the most common ones you'll be reaching for all the time. Adjectives of quality and adjectives of quantity.
So, let's break this down. On one side, you've got adjectives of quality. These guys answer the question of what kind. So, like the example says, Bombay isn't just any city, it's a big city. See? That's its quality. Then on the other side, you have adjectives of quantity. These answer how much. Shakespeare wrote many plays. Now, we don't know the exact number, right? But many gives us a sense of the amount. It's indefinite, but it's still super useful information.
All right, tool belt's out again. Let's pull out our next set of tools. Now, these are more like your precision instruments. They're super specialized, and they help us get really, really specific. We're talking about pointing directly at something or saying exactly who owns it.
So how do they work? Well, first up, demonstrative adjectives. Words like this, that, these, those, they're basically like pointing with your finger. When you say, come and look at this snake, you mean the one right here, not some other one. Then you've got possessive adjectives. Their job is all about ownership. When you say, that is your sister, there's no confusion. It's crystal clear who she belongs to. Super important for avoiding mix-ups.
So you might be wondering, where do these possessive words even come from? Well, this table is basically your cheat sheet. It's actually really simple. They come directly from pronouns. So I becomes my, you becomes your, we becomes our. It's a really straightforward switch, and it's how we show that something belongs to someone.
Okay, back to the tool belt we go. Let's grab a couple more of those specialized tools. These next two have very distinct jobs. One type helps us ask questions, and the other helps us single out individuals within a bigger group. Let's take a look.
So on the one hand, you've got interrogative adjectives. These are your question words. What, which, whose. Super important, right? And they always pop up right before a noun, like in the question, which way shall we go? Then, on the other hand, you have distributive adjectives, words like each or every. These are awesome because they let you talk about people or things in a group one by one. So when you say, every girl is a pearl, you're not talking about them as a big clump. You're thinking of each and every one individually.
And now, it's time for the final upgrade to our adjective tool belt. This is like a power-up. I mean, it's great to describe something, sure, but what if you want to compare it to something else? How do you say one thing is more than another? Well, that's where we level up our game with what we call the degrees of comparison.
It breaks down into three simple levels of power. Step one is the positive. That's just your basic, everyday adjective, like sweet. Step two is the comparative. This is what you use when you're comparing two things. One thing is sweeter than the other. And finally, step three, the top tier, the superlative. This is for comparing three or more things and picking out the absolute champion, the sweetest of them all. This chart shows you exactly how it works. For most adjectives, it's a really easy pattern, right? Big, bigger, biggest. Sweet, sweeter, sweetest. But, and this is super important, take a look at the ones at the bottom.
Some of the most common words we use are totally irregular. You never say gooder, you say better. You don't say badder, you say worse. Getting these right is one of those little things that makes a huge difference in how natural you sound.
And there you have it. From describing quality and quantity to pointing things out, showing who owns what, and even comparing things, your language tool belt is now officially upgraded. You see, adjectives aren't just boring grammar rules you have to memorize. No way. They are the paint on your palette, the colors you get to use to describe your world. So the only question now is, what are you going to create with them?